Are you guys winners or losers? I want to know.
Come on, baby.
I'm a winner, Rich.
Excuse me.
Think about it.
Excuse me.
Look at me.
Because he's put up the how about them Cowboys and look at me.
I'm a winner.
Very good.
Well, you're wearing like
I've won it. I've won it swag. We know that.
The Tom Pelissero piece,
Right?
my colleague from the NFL Media Group, Tom Pelissero, reporting on what's going on in Jacksonville, saying in the last couple of weeks that Marvin Jones, one of the wide receivers on the team, he's a veteran. Mm-hmm. But Marvin Jones has had nice years for Cincinnati, Detroit. Right?
Yeah, with Matt Stafford.
With Stafford and Golladay. I mean, he had some. Yeah. And so adding him to, this team, it's a nice move, veteran move. Apparently left the facility because he was sick and tired of the carping he was hearing from Urban Meyer on the receiving corps. needed to be coaxed to come back. Remember last week I said the James Robinson benching in the previous week's loss for the Jaguars was weird? Weird. He fumbles and he gets benched. And this year, it's just been an off year. Anybody who's got James Robinson in fantasy knows the kid who was so incredibly talented last year as an undrafted free agent, had a 1,000-yard rushing season for the Jaguars. This year has just been dreadful for him. And he gets benched because he fumbled against the Rams here in Los Angeles, and then sat out for 26 plays in a row or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And then after the game, Urban was asked about it. He's like, yeah, I got to look into it. I'm not in charge of that. The position coaches are in charge of that. I'm like, what do you mean you're not in charge of that? You're the CEO coach. That's why you were hired. You've written books about this. You're giving PowerPoints, TED Talks probably on being the CEO coach. And according to Tom's piece, not only did he order the benching, he ordered the code red, but blamed it on the coaches, and afterwards didn't own up to saying that, yeah, I benched him, saying it's on the coaches afterwards. But in between, he wasn't getting put back in the game until Trevor Lawrence went up to him and said, hey, why isn't he back in? And then the coach is like, all right, put him back in. But the worst of them all was Urban saying to the coaching staff this year that he was sick and tired of losing and that people wouldn't be back next year if it didn't turn around. That was after the second preseason loss. But in the last couple of weeks, according to Tom Pelissero, and this is the one that jumps out, is that he sat his coaches down and had them defend their resumes because he's a winner and they're losers, and they need to defend themselves to basically show why they should be sticking around doing what they're doing. So this was asked of Urban Meyer after they got shut out at the hands of the Titans yesterday.
What's the answer? Start leaking information or some nonsense? No, that's nonsense. That's garbage. That's that's, once again, I've been very blessed. I've not really dealt with that. I've not dealt with, well, did you hear what he said? What? No. Let's improve on offense and get our quarterback in a position to be successful. That's our focus. What someone's brother said or someone said that will occupy very little of my time. And if there is a source, that source is unemployed. I mean, within seconds, if there's some source that's doing it.
I'll just say this here, folks. The source isn't some brother. And the reason why Urban's never dealt with this before is he's one of the winningest coaches in the history of college football. Again, the 10 losses that he's had right now in Jacksonville, right? Or it's now 11, right? Isn't that what it is? It's tough to keep track. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the 11 losses are 2 more than he ever had at Ohio State combined, where nobody's talking about out of school about Urban Meyer. It was his way or the highway. He's the feudal lord of Columbus, Ohio, prior to that of Gainesville, Florida. That doesn't happen in the NFL, though. There's no feudal lords in the NFL. Even Belichick knows that. But he's got Lombardi's in the case, not glass eggs in the case, right? In the NFL, that doesn't matter. And it's not the brothers of somebody talking. It's the players. It's the players. This is the NFL. Coaches who don't respect the ultimate coach talk. And I proffer to say Urban's bye week perhaps cost him the respect of coaches and players in that room. If you're being asked, are you a loser? And the winner did what he did on his bye week, that's going to chafe professional football coaches. I'll tell you that. And it's the players. Tom Pelissero said the stuff, I'm assuming he learned about what was going on there with the players, telling the Rams after the game's over what's going on. They're unburdening themselves to their colleagues in Los Angeles. Players talk. Everybody talks. I have been around this block in the NFL coming up on 20 years. I have never been around a more chatty bunch that loves to talk about everybody else and themselves and what's going on in other people's houses more than NFL people. I mean, the Combine. Honestly, you could probably go to a convention about soap operas and they talk less than the Combine. And it's rumors. And it's rumors what you hear from this and that and the other thing. And it's not brothers. Nonsense. It's people talking about what they hear from other teams and agents. And agents talk. And so I hear this, and it's the latest example of me wondering, is it going to work here? Can it work here? Trevor Lawrence. This is the golden jewel that has been placed in this man's care to develop. And Trevor Lawrence right now has a stat line of 9 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, quarterback rating of 68.9. That's 31st in the league. 30th is Justin Fields and 32nd is Zach Wilson. He's supposed to be where Mac Jones is playing in terms of development. I don't think anybody expects the first overall selected team to be atop of the conference, but there's got to be some sort of flashes here. Basically, all he's teaching Trevor Lawrence to do is speak up on behalf of his colleagues who should be playing next to him because he's being benched for whatever reason that, to me, is the nonsense. Nonsense is what happened during the bye week. And it's the latest example of me wondering, this works better in college. Go back to college and get all the kids you want from the draft. And nobody's going to talk about what's going on in the coach's room. And the players aren't going to go up to the other players when the game's over and say, you have no idea what's going on here. Help me. I'm sending up a signal. I'm a free agent. Tell your team I'm coming, please. That's what happens in the NFL. Week in, week out. And Shad Khan knows it too. I don't know the answer. I'm just telling you what I think when I hear all this stuff. Mike Florio coming up.
Seems to me like buyout coming, back to Fox for a year, and then whatever college kid job opens up for 2023, he goes back there.
That's an expensive thing, man. I know Shad Khan is a very rich man, but that's a lot of contracts. And one thing's for sure is that coaching staff's going to change. If not the HC, the rest of everything's going to change, and that's a lot of contracts he's got to pay off. You could do the math, though. Nobody's more expensive than Urban, who doesn't want this to happen. No. I'm sure he's looking around saying, what the hell's going on? What the hell's
Trevor
happened?
Lawrence, go to ownership and be like, bro.
No, that's not. I don't think that's his. I've never met him. I've heard that wouldn't be his style. But honestly, what caretaking has happened here so far? What progression is there? It's infighting. It's infighting in the coaches' rooms. It's total disarray in terms of who's in the game and who's not. Or there's complete array, and then mid-game the array changes because the quarterback says something, the rookie quarterback says something, and then the coach who benches him says after the game, where the players and coaches will hear it, I'll look into it. And it's like, I didn't hear that in the TED Talk. I didn't read that in the book. And it's left you to wonder if he knows what he's doing. And I think he has to know what he's doing.
No, I think it proves that college to the NFL is not easy. It's different.
Well, it's different.
It's hard. Very different.
It's different. It's not like my way or you can do my way or highway, but you better be consistent. That's why I said once that happened in the bye week, which I'm sorry to keep bringing up because I'm sure it's a very difficult personal matter here, and I'm not being. This is nothing personal here. I'm just telling what my opinion is. Like that's going to destroy it. That's why it's very difficult to repair all of that.
Yeah, once
and the coaches, the professional coaches who have probably never heard of that before or seen it before, if they're on the business end of the "Are you a winner or a loser?" they're probably be like, "What?"
Yeah.
You know, and Urban, just to be fair and balanced, said he never called anyone a loser. That's what he said. But if I'm sitting there and I'm the owner of the Jaguars, I'm going to find out what was said and what wasn't and do the math. Or hope that this is just going to be the wildest learning lesson of all time, and then we'll look back on it.
Laugh about it in like 5 years?
I don't know. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.